G'day you beautiful people, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at a rework idea for Grux. I'm going to try to get this done as quickly as possible so I can get off this chair and get back to resting my back. Before we get into the video, just like usual, I'd like to say that when I do these rework videos, I look through the character's history, look at community members' suggestions, and even look at other games for ideas. In some cases, I may actually use a community member's suggestion and I'll try to give them props for it. If I see something that I think is very interesting but don't agree with, I might also choose to talk about that as well. When it comes to these reworks, I will be giving every hero a passive, and I also like the idea of quests, so I'll be providing a quest idea for their passive and their 3 basic abilities, but not for their ultimate. I think ultimate should just be left alone. So there are many different ways that quests could work. Could be that one random ability on every hero, whether it be on Sparrow it's a passive, on Grux it's his smash and grab. Maybe they just have one quest that's random on an ability. I would prefer to have it that every hero gets a quest for their passive, and they have a quest for their other 3 abilities, but the player has to choose one of those 3 abilities that they want the quest for. I just think that will add a lot more build diversity, and a little way to tailor against the enemy team as well. So it's in my opinion that quest should be difficult but attainable and should also have pretty strong rewards. However, like I said, I'm not opposed to it being a completely different way. I'm not opposed to them having all 4 quests active. I'm not opposed to it just being one random quest, but I might as well give a suggestion for all 3 abilities and the passive, because then the idea is out there. But with that said, let's get started. So Grux. Grux is one of the most popular junglers. He has a great imaginative model and a very good kit. He's a very solid hero. The issue I have is whether he's a tank or a bruiser. Personally, I'd like to see him be more of a tank that is responsible for boosting his team's damage, lowering the enemy's healing, and pulling people out of position. So I'm going to suggest some adjustments to his kit to suit that. So to start off with his basic attack, being a tank, I think he needs to have a relatively low basic attack power scaling, so somewhere around 0.5, as it needs to be lower than a carry or a bruiser/fighter, but I think it should be higher than a support or a caster. Now, we need to give the big boy a passive, and this one might seem a bit mental, but I'm taking it from an existing passive in Heroes of the Storm, from a character called Garrosh. So we'll call it Thick Skin. Grux gains extra armor for every 10% of missing health. Now in Heroes of the Storm, this is listed as 1 armor per 2% of missing health, but obviously that needs to be different in Paragon due to tanks actually buying health and armor. So with Garrosh, it works that he mitigates around 50% damage at very low health. So perhaps with Grux it could be that at say 10% health remaining, his armor is increased by 45%. So every 10% of missing health increases his overall armor by 5. Let me know what you think. So for the quest, perhaps after taking X amount of damage, gains 7% armor per 10% of missing health instead of 5. Now again, this may sound super strong, but with the way that armor will probably work, you'll actually get diminishing returns on armor, so I don't think it'll be too strong, and it's more about the idea than the numbers. Now for his abilities, first up we have Double Pain, melee cleave attack that deals damage and applies bleed to all enemies it touches. So we have a 100% cleave ability that can't crit, but applies bleed. I'm suggesting that bleed lasts for 5 seconds, and that bleed deals damage equal to 1% of the enemy's max health per second, or maybe that should be current, I don't know, while also reducing healing by 20%. I think the quest should be, after hitting 25 enemy heroes with Double Pain, bleed now reduces healing by 30%. So that's pretty strong. Possibly too strong, but I am more focused on the mechanic, but let me know what you think. So next up we have Smash and Grab. Not suggesting any number changes, I'd just like to see the range and cast speed of the ability be more like Legacy. Not necessarily exactly like Legacy, but bigger and slower. So the quest would read, after pulling 20 enemy heroes, cast speed is reduced by 50%. Again, it may be too strong, but it's about the idea, not the numbers. For his third ability, I want to keep Crush. Grux lunges forward, dealing damage and knocking up any enemies at his destination. Now with this ability, I chose to lower the stun duration at base, so it could be buffed via the quest, which reads, after knocking up 20 enemies, stun duration is increased by 50%. Now 50% may seem a lot again, but it's about the idea, not the numbers. But like I said, I have lowered the base stun duration so that this will kind of end up slightly stronger than it used to be. Now for his ultimate, Warlord's Challenge, perhaps a name change is needed considering the change I am proposing, maybe not. Grux slams his hammers together, stunning enemies and providing his allies with a damage increase against affected enemies. So he can apply a short stun and make it so his allies do 20% more damage to all enemies that are affected for 6 seconds. This way we have him move away from being a potentially tanky hero that can buff his own damage into a very tanky hero that is in charge of reducing healing, buffing teammates, and punishing poorly positioned enemies. So kind of pretty different. That's a bit retarded. Quite a bit different to what he used to be. You know, I would like to think that he was probably more of a bruiser, you know, with lowish damage that could just buff the shit out of his own damage and just wreck on people. But I think this is a much better way to go for him. But that's my opinion. This is my idea. I'd like to hear what you think about anything that we've talked about today. So hit me up in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe if you're not already. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.